Hello folks. Well, I've not done a video for about a week on the bike, and that's because not much has been happening with the bike. What happened was I took it out for a kind of test ride because I got it to a stage where it would rev up to its full revs, or what I think is pretty much the red line. Obviously, like I've said before, there's no rev counter on it, so I can't say for sure what it's revving to. So what happened was I decided to take it out, and I took it out one evening. I think it was about a week ago. I can't remember. It's probably more than a week ago now. I think it's about a week and a half. So I took it out and it went quite well. I was feeling quite kind of powerful. Got quite decent acceleration. It's not it wasn't quite as powerful as I'd expect a CBR900 to be, but that's just probably because it's not set up right yet. Need to get the carburetor set up, but it's basically running and it rides not too bad. It rides well enough that you could sort of get from A to B on it. Having said that, what happened was when I was out on the ride was the engine cut out at a junction, and I tried to start it, it wouldn't start, so I had to kind of coast. I coasted onto sort of like the side of the road and just kind of pushed it into an entrance to a sort of a pub or like a restaurant place or something. So I basically stopped there, and then I called my breakdown service, and they came out and tried to start it, and they managed to get it to start again, but it would only start with the jump leads on. It wouldn't start on the buttons. So they put it in the van, brought it back, and it's not been out on the road since then. I have started it again since then. I started it using a car battery and some jump leads, and when I connect up the jump leads, it starts fine on the button, just fires up straight away, but it won't fire up on the button with its own battery in. So basically the battery which is in it at the moment is pretty much knackered. I took the battery out after I'd had this problem, and I trickle charged it for about, 8 hours or something like that. Put it back in the bike, tried to start it, pressed the button, and it just kind of turned over really, really slowly, just like kind of hardly turning over at all. So there's no chance it was going to fire like that. Like I say, when I connected up the car battery and jump leads, it fired up fine. So it's not really a kind of an engine or ignition problem. It's either a battery problem or it's a charging problem. I don't know if it the battery that I used is quite new, but having said that, I did do a lot of messing around using that battery, like trying to diagnose the ignition problem and all that kind of thing. So it could be that I've basically just killed the battery from all that kind of stuff. I don't know basically, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a new battery for it. The battery that I'm thinking of getting, I was looking for like a higher energy battery. Most motorbike batteries are about 7, 8, 9, 10 amp hours. I was wondering if I could get something with kind of better amperage, so I found this. It's a Lucas golf trolley battery, and as you can see, I don't know how well this shows in the video, 22 amp hours, so about twice the amp hours of a bike battery. They call it an 18-hole battery because it's for a golf trolley. It's £37.50, which is a little bit dearer than bike batteries. A basic sort of UASA any kind of cheap YT bike battery is normally about 25-30 quid, so it's a little bit more expensive, but it's not, it's a kind of affordable, under 40 quid. You can't really see in that photo, but it's got different kind of terminals. So what I did was I pulled up, copied and pasted the heading, pulled up a photo on Google, and these are the terminals. But I think those would work because it's basically just a screw. So just screw the battery, the bike terminals down onto it, and then that would give me a 22 amp hour sealed rechargeable battery. It's a deep cycle battery, I think it says. Where did it say that? Hang on a second. It said deep, there we go, deep cycle battery. See if I can highlight that. It's a deep cycle 22 amp hour battery and it's sealed. So I think that might be a bit better than the usual kind of cheapy motorbike batteries that seem to... I mean, to be honest, you can get really cheap bike batteries on eBay. I've seen them for like 20 quid. In fact, I think that one that's in it at the moment, that was about £20, but I'm thinking of maybe spending a bit more on getting a battery that's a bit more robust. I'm not sure whether you're supposed to use a golf trolley battery in a motorcycle. If anyone knows one way or another, if you could put something in the comments, that would be awesome. So that's basically that. The thing is, it's going to have to wait a couple of weeks, and this is the main reason that I'm making this video at the moment, because I'm out of work at the moment, but I'm starting a new job, a night shift job, starting this Sunday, and it's a weekly paid job, but even so it's paid in arrears, so it'll be probably 2 or 3 weeks before I've actually got some spending money. So the CBR project is basically on hold, but it's not too much of a big deal, because I basically just need about 100 quid's worth of bits to get it finished at this stage, I think. So probably what I'll do is once I'm in the new job, I'll just start getting bits and pieces like this battery and what have you, and I should have it properly sorted by probably about end of February, March, which is kind of, I originally aimed to have it done by March, so that would be fine. So the other things that I need to get are, go back a page, I need to get a speedometer. And I also need to replace the clutch springs. So you can get a clutch spring kit, which includes, like that one there for example, EBC, and it includes the springs and the plates and a gasket, and I can get that for just under £70. Or I could get EBC clutch springs for about £13. Now, as far as I know, the plates are okay. I mean, well, to be honest, I don't know whether they are or not. I'm assuming that they're okay. The springs clearly are not okay, that's why it's making them rattle. So I think probably what I might do in the first instance is just get a set of springs for 13 quid, put them in, and that'll be that. So battery, springs, and then the other thing I need to do is I need to get sorted out the speedometer, because there's no speedometer on there at the moment, because the digital one, I think I mentioned this in the previous video, but the digital Speedo that I had on before doesn't work properly. It got it through the MOT, but it's kind of I can't get it to work right. Anyway, that's another story, but I'm thinking about maybe getting one of these bicycle GPS Speedos, but the thing is I want to get one which is genuinely just GPS, that doesn't require the wheel magnets, because that was the problem with the previous one. I couldn't seem to get it to read the wheel magnets. So some of these, it's not very clear whether whether it's dependent on wheel magnets or whether it's like a purely GPS Speedo. I know it must be possible to get a GPS Speedo because, for example, on my BlackBerry phone, if you go into BlackBerry Maps and you leave it open, say when you're on a train or a bus or something like that, it actually tells you your speed. It'll say, you know, you're doing 40, 50, 60 mile an hour or whatever, and it changes speed as the bus or the train changes speed. So I know it's possible to get speed from GPS, even on a BlackBerry. So my other option might be just to actually get a proper speedometer, like for example this one, Universal Digital Motorcycle Odometer Speedometer 12 volt, which I think should just plug into the bike's electrics, and then what I could do is I could just fit a normal, where is it? I could fit a normal speedometer speed sensor. It should be about 15 quid, so it'd be about 15 quid for that, and about hang on a sec, what was that? I can't remember how much that was. Oh, that's just a tenner, but mind you, I think it's coming from China, but there we go. So I could I could fit a normal speedo like that, universal speedo, which is actually analog. I think it's not even digital. And I could fit an analog speedo, and I could fit that speedometer sensor. That'd be about £25, which would be about the same as fitting a GPS. One of these GPSs is probably going to work out about 25 quid to get one that's genuinely GPS. So I haven't really decided which I'm going to do. I think GPS is probably easier to install because you don't need the sensor, so you just pretty much, it's almost just like clipping a smartphone to the handlebars or something. You just kind of plug and play, you know. There's an actual GPS speedometer, 200 miles per hour, up to 200 miles per hour. Wow. Stainless steel gauges for car, truck, waterproof. Right, so the fact that's for a car or a truck tells me that it's not dependent on wheel magnets, because you couldn't put wheel magnets on a car or truck. Well, I suppose you could, but I think it's unlikely. But then again, that's quite expensive. That's like 90 quid. Or I could get something like that, which is 3.5 inch car HUD GPS head-up screen display, speedometer, speed warning, ODB2. Right, so that has to plug into the ODB2 socket, which obviously I don't have on the bike, so that's not going to work. Or I could get that one, universal car GPS, speedometer, HUD MPH, switch between miles per hour, kilometer hour, USB plug and play. So I need a USB socket to plug that one into to get power for, but I could probably get a USB socket and wire that into the bike quite easily. So basically I need to decide what I'm going to do with for a Speedo. I'm going to need to pick one of these things, decide which I'm going to go for. So I need a battery, a Speedo and some clutch springs, and that'll be kind of all the important stuff done. Obviously there's always more stuff you can do with a project. For example, at some point I want to fit a Blackbird seat because this seat doesn't fit properly with the seat unit. So there's stuff like that as well. I probably need to put a proper fuse box in it at some point as well, instead of just like a single main fuse. But I mean, these are just kind of finishing off things, you know. These are things I can kind of do as I go along. And then I need to put it in and get the carburetors balanced, because I can't really do that myself. So, and the other thing that I've done since this photo was taken is I've chopped the back of the mudguard. I've not taken a lot off, you can hardly really see the difference. But the back of the mudguards I've chopped off so that when I go over speed bumps it doesn't hook itself on the bottom of the radiator. So that's now done. So I've been doing kind of stupid little things like that, you know, just little finishing off things, but I just need to throw maybe another 100 or 200 quid at it just to kind of get the important stuff finished off, and after that that's pretty much it, pretty much usable. Start using it. So that's pretty much it. But like I say, because I've got no money at the moment, I'm not going to be doing any more on it for about the next probably 2 or 3 weeks. So probably middle of February, towards the end of February, I'll start putting some videos up again. When I do the clutch springs, I'll probably put up a video about that, and the GPS Speedo as well. So there will be more videos going up, but not for a few weeks. So that's grand. Thanks very much for watching.